So there's another report out from the Defense Department that shows how much we've spent on the current wars in the Middle East since 9/11, since 2001. Now, again, this started with the Bush era, where we invaded Afghanistan and Iraq, and then, of course, now includes Syria as well. Now, these conflicts, I should say, were carried over from the Obama administration and now continue into the Trump administration. At least Afghanistan does. According to that report, the collective wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria have cost taxpayers more than $1.5 trillion since September 11th of 2001. So that's the official Defense Department Pentagon number. $1.5 trillion. Think about that. That's $1.5 trillion that could have went to your healthcare. That could have went to your kid's school. That could have went to infrastructure. Like, for example, Flint, right? To replace all the water pipes. That could have went to all that. Could have went to free college. It could have went to fixing some of the terrible roads that you might drive on. That's money that they took out of your pocket and spent on bombing brown people. And speaking of bombing brown people, not just the monetary cost here, which I'm going to basically point out later on how that's incorrect. You also have, according to an independent survey from ORB, over 1.2 million innocent people died in Iraq. That's just Iraq by itself. Not to mention Afghanistan, which is in the hundreds of thousands, in Syria. And that doesn't even cover our service members who also died in these insane wars. Insane wars. According to the report, they say that the money went toward training, equipment, maintenance, as well as food, clothing, medical services, and pay for troops. Really. Look, in reality, again, that's what the Pentagon wants to say. Oh, no, we're doing great budgeting of our money. In fact, we need you to increase our budget even more so we can do more. Because we don't have enough money yet. Over $700 billion, we don't quite have enough. We need more from Congress. Look, here's where that money went. Defense contractors. You know the soldiers, right? It says, oh, no, pay for the troops, right? You know how much an E1 makes in the Army? About $19,000 a year. That is not very much money. That is poverty level. Not only that, but again, look at our Pentagon budget. $700 billion every year. And yet, according to a 2016 report from the Government Accountability Office, about 23,000 active duty troops had to use food stamps in the year 2013. That's the Obama administration. The most recent year that such data was available, because again, the Pentagon does not like to make this data available to people. Gee, I wonder why. Because it would show that they are grossly mismanaging the billions of dollars, the hundreds of billions of dollars we send them every year from our paychecks. That comes out of my, our paychecks. It goes right into that, right into the Pentagon, and then right into the defense contractors, the defense industry's pockets. It goes to buy the CEO another yacht while they make weapons to bomb innocent brown people overseas. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. There's more. Of about 750,000 food stamp transactions, or almost $80 million in purchases, were completed at military commissaries in 2015, the latest year for which data is currently available. So you have food stamps and other, benefits, welfare benefits, going to our troops because for some reason the Pentagon cannot afford to pay our troops better. With the biggest budget on Earth, the biggest military budget on Earth, we still can't afford to pay troops above poverty level? Come on, man. Nobody's buying that. Again, that money does not go to the troops. It goes to the weapons manufacturers that get rich off endless war. Endless war. And look, that 1.5 trillion, as I said, that is the official number from the Pentagon. But let me give you the real number. According to a report published last year, that's November 8th of 2017, the U.S. wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, and Pakistan, see, they didn't even involve Pakistan, right, have cost American taxpayers $5.6 trillion since 2001. That is a figure that is more than 3 times that of the Pentagon's own estimates of the war. That study by the Watson Institute of International and Public Affairs at Brown University basically aims to reflect costs that the Pentagon does not include in its own calculations, since war costs aren't borne by the Defense Department alone. So, now, let me see. The study's estimates include recurring expenses such as long-term medical care for veterans and war costs incurred by the State Department. Costs also reflect related spending by the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Veterans Affairs, and others. And that study, $5.6 trillion, that doesn't even involve other things. It doesn't include U.S. operations such as assistance to the Philippines in the fight against the Islamic State or other countries in Africa and Europe. So that $5.6 trillion that we spend on war, that doesn't even cover everything. We are spending trillions upon trillions of dollars in endless conflict, endless war. Imagine what we could have done with that money over the last 17 years. We could have made sure that kids growing up when that happened, that are now college aged, when that happened, when we invaded Iraq, that are near college age, could actually afford to go to school because college would be paid for. It could be free. They would have health care. Everybody would have health care. We could pay for that. Instead, no, it went to go enriching, it went to enrich the CEO's pockets that sell the weapons. That's what it went to, not to us. And it went to bombing people. It's gross. This is gross. This is gross. Look, Iraq. The Iraq war was unnecessary. Afghanistan, largely unnecessary, right? Now, look, that doesn't mean we shouldn't have gone after Osama bin Laden. I'm not saying that. But you could do special forces to capture Osama bin Laden and bring him to justice. Instead, 17 years later, we're still there. We're still in Afghanistan. In fact, people are still dying in Afghanistan. A U.S. service member was killed and another wounded on Monday in what was called an apparent insider attack in eastern Afghanistan, according to a statement from Resolute Support, the NATO-led coalition in Afghanistan. And on Wednesday, 20 people were killed in twin bomb attacks in Kabul. ISIS claimed responsibility for that attack. ISIS, we're still talking about ISIS, right? I thought Donald Trump was supposed to knock the crap out of ISIS. What happened? What happened? Turns out, indiscriminate, endless bombing does not actually work. You can't win a war on terror. It had no end goal. There is no end goal to the war on terror because you'll never defeat terror. It's just another excuse for endless war and for the defense contractors' endless profit. That's what that's about. We still have 14,000 Americans in Afghanistan. Why? Why are they there? Why are they not home? We're wasting money. We are wasting lives. Now, there is some rare good news here. Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis told reporters traveling with him that he was hopeful peace talks with the Taliban would signal an end to America's longest war. He said, right now, we have more indications that reconciliation is no longer just a shimmer out there, no longer just a mirage. It now has some framework. There's some open lines of communication. Well, if we can actually end the war in Afghanistan and get the hell out of there, good. It is long past time to end the war. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.